my name again? Brian Santana?
Ron Burgundy. That's
Yes,
his
Ron
name.
Burgundy.
And I'm Brian
Coming at you
Fantana. I've just sent Thomas on Draft Utopia. We've got a great show lined up, and I was just spraying some Sex Panther backstage before we went live.
And I was combing my hair profusely, making sure it was extra clean and ready. And then I was giving Christina Applegate some one-on-one time. Just kidding, everybody. It's Thomas Coburn.
And I'm Chris Ransom, and that was just a terrible, terrible opening. But let's get to some headlines here. What do you want to start with first, Thomas? Do you want to start with the Oregon State game, or do you want to start with the Dolphins-Ravens game, the forgettable game? I'll mention some brief moments in that game because it was such a horrible game. I only wrote 2 paragraphs about the game and mentioned that the Ravens shut out the Dolphins. This was a horrible game. There are notable moments where the Joe Flacco hit, which seems to be the hot button topic that conveyed the most emotional intelligence, that generated the most buzz, that drove the conversation. That was the big headline. The Joe Flacco, Kiko Alonso hit. That was the big takeaway here. There was also some C.J. Mosley and Jimmy Smith pick sixes that scarred Thomas for a few hours, and then we had a cat running onto the field. So there was some good, bad, and ugly in this game. The good was, if you're a Ravens fan, you got to see your team unleash a butt whooping. The bad was that hit, which some people, I know you and Ryan both believe that the media is blowing that hit out of proportion because of Flacco, and he was too reckless. And then there was the cat. So, which of those 3 things do you want to open up the show with?
Let's just get the worst out of the way.
Who, the Dolphins?
Yeah, we're opening up with the Dolphins, but which topic? Like, there were 3 takeaways here. There was the Flacco hit, there was the 2 interceptions by Jimmy Smith and Mosley, and then there was a cat running onto the field. And those are really the big takeaways from this 40-0 game that was just forgettable.
Let's do the Flacco hit first.
All right.
My opinion on that is Flacco was a dumbass and didn't know how to slide properly. Cam Newton and several of those tall quarterbacks don't know how to slide properly. And so Kiko, it was a bang-bang play, and Flacco slid a second late, and that's what Kiko was saying when he was defending himself. And you can't just pull up out of the fly like that. That's physically impossible, especially when you're in the momentum.
Yeah, Tom Brady had a slip and slide as a kid, even though you like to talk about how overrated he is. This hit tells me that Tom Brady had a slip and slide as a kid. Joe Flacco did not have a slip and slide as a kid. It's very revealing.
Yes. It's Flacco's own fault. Kiko did feel bad, though. I mean, he's not Montez perfect. He's not known for dirty hits. And if you guys saw last week, a good example of him not being a dirty player, when he picked up Taylor Gabriel in the Falcons game and carried him, when he could have just blown him up. No, he carried him like a baby.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's been like split opinions on it. It was a dirty play. Plays like that happen, but I don't think Kiko meant to do it on purpose.
No, but the offensive lineman certainly meant to hit Kiko on purpose after that hit. Because he was just all pissed off. Like, he was so pissed off that he did that to Flacco. He just bullied him and pushed him to the ground, the right tackle. I think it was Austin Howard, or maybe the right guard. But that guy just hammered Alonso after that hit.
Yeah, and Kiko took it like a man. He didn't fire back.
Yeah.
He just let it happen.
Exactly.
And it's weird because Kiko, back at Oregon, he had some off-the-field issues with, I think, a few fightings and a couple of drug things. But, like, this just goes to show how he has matured since then a lot. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Flacco definitely flipped very, very late, or he didn't slide like quick enough, where he could have just ran out of bounds or like started to run that way, or if he did slide, maybe instead of doing the slide that he did where you're still running full speed, slow down just a hair. You're already winning. It's not like you're sitting there playing because you're down by 3 and you're in territory. You're winning.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thought on that, is that decision. It wasn't like he sat there and, wasn't even going to slide or anything, and Kiko was like, oh, I'm going to Goldberg spear you. No, he's going to control the momentum because, like you said, physics, and I'm a man of science, kind of, knows that you can sit there and go as fast as you can. You're not going to stop as quick.
And the way he slid, too. Like, he needed to watch Russell Wilson slide.
Well, that was the other thing. Yep. Wait.
I mean, he just threw his shoulder. Chico wasn't sure if he was going to, Flacco could have easily faked the slide and kept going and could have scored because of the way he slid.
Exactly.
Flacco's a retard. That's all I have to say.
All right, we'll move on to the next game. I mean, this show is going to only go from 2 to 3 p.m., and then I'm going to hang up the phone immediately and head over to my friend's house because I do have big plans tonight, but I'm going to let Thomas run this episode of Draft Utopia into the ground or set us to a new golden age, whichever happens first. I'm trying to be positive no matter what. So we've got 53 minutes, and I'm going to let Thomas talk about Oregon State and Stanford.
Oh, we didn't do the cat.
Oh, do you want to talk about the cat? Do you want to talk about the cat? We can talk about the cat really quickly.
Let me do the 2 pick things first. I told everyone Matt Moore is trash. That second pick, I didn't see the game, but I saw the highlight of that second pick. That was the absolute worst interception I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, yeah, he was under pressure, but goddamn, Moore, what the hell were you doing? And the cat thing. Why the hell was there a cat on that goddamn field? But I love how Tony Romo commentated it all serious, like he was like running a play. That cracked me up.
Yeah, one of the podcasters on TalkShoe actually refers to their cat as Kobe the kitty, and they talk about how their cat comes in from it comes in off a parachute in order to take the field and pull an upset. Like, he calls it the Kobe the kitty upset, and he has the cat come off a parachute. So my thought process is that actually was Kobe the kitty. He came in off a parachute and then decided to run around off the field. So
I honestly feel like that cat thing was staged by the NFL during that game on the fly because the game was so boring. They wanted to give someone a little entertainment.
It's not like Roger Goodell just had a witch outfit and decided, I'm going to put this cat on the field and take off in my magic broom.
Pretty much. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I think the Broncos should get the kitty because the kitty can run.
Yeah.
Well, the Broncos did actually trade for someone. I don't know if the trade source or rumor is true, but what I heard is the Steelers all they got for Martavis Bryant was a 7th round pick, and the team that hustled Pittsburgh was your Denver Broncos. That's what I've been hearing.
Oh, get out of here for a 7th round pick?
Yep. That's all they got for Martavis Bryant, a 7th round pick.
Now, I believe it was Tracy or someone had said that, there's no way Pittsburgh would be foolish enough to do that. And I said, I'm just basing it off of the 5th round pick that Chicago had supposedly offered them. So I really think, though, that this is a good trade because you have a guy that's pretty talented for the most part in Pittsburgh, but he's surrounded by really good receivers. I mean, let's face it, Antonio Brown and then also the new guy, Juju Smith-Schuster, that we scouted as well. I mean, right now, he's getting put into a pretty good system with the Broncos where they do like to pass and open it up with the running game, so I feel like it's similar. But hear me out. Emmanuel Sanders is hurt, so this is a great trade. Win-win for both teams.
I don't know if it's a win-win for both teams. I'd say it's a very one-sided deal for the Denver Broncos that has you ecstatic because you're a Broncos fan, because the Steelers, if they had a 5th round pick from the Chicago Bears, why did they agree to take a 7th round pick from the Denver Broncos? What's that about? They can...
Well, Well, think about it like this. Do you want a quarterback that has potential to be good, like Mitch Trubisky throwing to him? Or do you want to punish him a little bit by making him go to the Broncos for the rest of the half season?
Hey, guys, I came up with a new nickname for Mitch Trubisky.
What's that?
Mitch True Butthole.
No,
But
that's
anyway.
sometimes I'd call him Mitch Trubisky, or I'd call him Mitchell, the Truth Seeker. There's the Biscuit.
All right, moving on. Oh, yeah, everybody, I forgot. That was Britt Tamlin, our weather reporter. JK, it's Ryan Romero.
Yeah, we opened up the show as anchorman personalities. So Thomas was Ron Burgundy. I was the guy. I was the
Brian Santana.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, guys. What are you guys talking about?
All right.
What are you guys talking about?
We talked about the NFL game. It was just awful. Okay, so that rumor was a false flag, apparently, because Joe...
Alright, moving on to the Oregon State game.
Whoa, Chris, so the Broncos didn't actually get him?
Well, someone reported it. Someone reported it.
Oh.
So somebody's been reporting fake news just to screw with Ryan.
Yeah, and it worked. That is not very funny.
Because it said an article, said the Broncos got a 7th round pick, gave up a 7th round pick for Martavis Bryant, so people in the media are reporting fake news just to screw with Ryan. I do not approve of this behavior, guys.
I mean, honestly, I'm pretty gullible, so I'd be messing with you too. I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
That is pretty messed up. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, let's move on to the Oregon State-Stanford game, which I was at last night. Now,
Thomas, you were there last night in person. Give us
I was.
commentary.
Now, it was a splendid show of a good game. It was run the ball down their throats the whole way. Oregon State cannot pass for a flying, flipping dolphin. Stanford could pass about as good as Matt Moore passed last night. Stanford did not have Bryce Love play. He was out with a sprained ankle, so their backup Cameron Scarlett played. Oregon State pretty much dominated the entire football game up for 4 quarters. We had about 225 total yards. Most of that was on the ground. 132 rushing yards on the ground. Ryan Nall didn't have a great game, but he had a solid game. 19 carries for 83 yards. Thomas Tyner had a touchdown. Darryl Garrettson ran in a touchdown. We had that game won, and then a final quarter, last 2 minutes, Ryan Nall fumbles the football in our red zone, giving Stanford perfect field position to score, which they did, and then they won the game. But those 2 timeouts that we wasted also came back to bite us in the ass. Now, Oregon State 2 weeks ago played Colorado tough. They dominated the game, and then they lost on a stupid play call. And then they lost in a similar situation this week. They dominate the game and lose on the phone. So, but the fact that we held the number 20... Oh, yeah, also, Elijah Holder had a nasty injury last night. Elijah Holder is one of their top corners, and he's a surefire NFL prospect.
Yeah, he is.
You hate to
Stanford
see that
has 2 NFL corners. Elijah Holder, who's the field corner that plays against team's #1 receivers, and then they've got Quentin Meeks, who a lot of scouts are actually higher on, but I like Holder better personally. But I think both are day 3 picks.
Yeah, Holder, it was bad. Him and a teammate were going to make a tackle on, I think it was Artavis Pierce. It wasn't Null. But, and then, his teammate just collided into him, because, he, hit his hip and then, bounced off, and then hit his hit Holder straight in the knee, and it was pretty bad. He got carted off and everything. So, you hate to see that happen.
Yep, it's unfortunate.
But Quentin Meeks had a pretty good game. I mean, they held our receivers in check for most of the game. We literally had to pass over the middle most of the time, which we couldn't pass at all. I was disappointed because we didn't try to go deep at all, but that's okay. And watching in person, I told you that I was going to, Chris, I told you I was going to prove to you that Nall is so much better than you think. And watching him in person, I stand by that statement. I mean, he's faster. He looks a lot faster in person. His vision, it still looks great. His quickness, his balance, his patience. I mean, it's rare to see that kind of elusiveness and quickness in a man of his size. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. But it's truly fun to watch. He was averaging like 4 yards per carry, which isn't bad at all. He didn't really do much pass blocking. Like, they didn't ask him to. So I was trying to look for that, but like, he really didn't do it. So, they didn't really have him pass block.
Yeah, something's buzzing in here. I can't tell if it's a stink bug or a mosquito or a queen bee, but something was buzzing in here.
But our defense held Stanford's run game in check. I mean, they had to beat us passing. That goes to show how improved our defense was. I mean, because Stanford has a great offensive line.
They do. They have two guys that could be NFL prospects. At right tackle, you got Casey Tucker, and then at center, you got the guy who's opened up a vast majority of the holes for Bryce Love, and that's Jesse Burkett.
Yeah, and we held them in check running. Stanford's known for running, and if you look at their stats this year, running the football, like, that's pretty good performance by our defense. Regardless if Love was out, they should have been able to run all over us, but they weren't. So, that was a good performance. And what were you saying, Ryan?
I mean, come on. You really think, though, that they held the run defense? I mean, come on, 72 yards, and then they had 4.2 an average on that?
Well, I'm not saying they shut it down. I'm saying they contained Stanford's high-powered rushing offense.
If you keep a rushing offense to under 100 total yards and 0 touchdowns, you've isolated the offense. You've pretty much blanketed them. I'm not sure if it was a performance like that. Now, if Stanford has multiple running backs and each running back had over 100 yards rushing, then there's a different debate to be made here. Because if the two running backs combine for 100 yards, you're just containing them. You're not isolating them or depleting them. But I think...
Yeah, Scarlett didn't even have over 100 yards rushing. And if he did have a rushing touchdown, it was a goal line touchdown, which are usually given. So we contained their run game. They had to beat us passing.
Yep.
Which,
so...
Yeah. But, yeah. We definitely play harder with this new coach. It was sad to say that the refs were biased, but they were biased towards us because we were home. So many blown calls. David Shaw was pissed. I was watching his reaction on the whole sideline. Oh my God. He was angry that entire game. I've never seen David Shaw that angry before.
I might have to flip my shoe over. I mean, I don't know why there's like a... I don't know. You know what? Let's just go ahead and give us something else to talk about, Thomas.
Well, what about the Chad Kelly talks that we've been hearing in Denver lately?
I'm all for it. I'll tell you what, Thomas. I think Chad Kelly would be a good quarterback. I'm not trying to say that, oh, hey, we totally hated on him in the draft or anything, but I think that he has a cannon arm. I think that he has a good football IQ because of who his uncle was. So, I mean, obviously there's some kind of football knowledge there, so that got passed down.
Yeah, I liked Chad Kelly. He was actually behind Patrick Mahomes and Watson. He was actually my number 3 quarterback in the preseason at one point. Behind those two, behind Watson and Mahomes, when I did my preseason QB rankings, I had Watson as my preseason number 1, but I kept moving him down because he kept throwing picks. But
well, and hear me out too. I don't think he had a good offensive line at Ole Miss, whereas now he would have a.
He actually did have a good offensive line at Ole Miss. Ole Miss has a 2019 first-round left tackle named Fawn Cooper, so.
Yeah, that's the one.
They had Tunsil.
They had Tunsil too, so. Yeah, like 2016 when he was at Ole Miss, they lost all those players to the 2016 draft, Ryan. So you got to look at it from that perspective too. They lost Cody Core, they lost Laquan Treadwell, they lost Tunsil. Chad Kelly had one decent season in 2015, and 2016 season was shortened because his supporting cast outside of Fawn Cooper at left tackle, who was a true freshman that year, has gotten a lot better this year. Outside of that, it just was a weak supporting cast.
Well, I guess that's my thing is, imagine if he did play on the Broncos where he would actually have some pretty good receivers and an offensive line. I mean, I feel like with that and his knowledge, it would just translate.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of things off the field. He's done a good job staying clean and maturing in the NFL so far, but he's got a few off-the-field things that he had hanging in the draft, which is why he fell. That and injury, you don't know how healthy he's going to stay. There's definitely potential for him to be a solid game manager, not a Tannehill Flacco level, but he's got game manager potential. He could be a good backup and a solid game manager.
Okay, first off, I'm going to say this. Every quarterback in the NFL is a game manager to an extent. The thing is, it's how good of a game manager these quarterbacks are. Alex Smith is one of the best game managers in the NFL. Tom Brady is a great game manager. As much as I diss on the guy, I give him credit for that. Now, Chad Kelly, he's probably a good game manager, but this is my thoughts on Kelly. Even though I didn't have Kelly up that much last year, I had him as probably my second best quarterback behind Mahomes, and then Watson third. I like Kelly's arm more than Watson, and I think Kelly and Mahomes had the 2 best arms in the entire draft class.
Well, the funny thing is, Kelly was the backup to Watson, and he got kicked off of Clemson's team. Then he went to Ole Miss. So
yeah, I know. But I know Watson, mentality-wise, is better than Kelly, but talent-wise, arm talent-wise, I like Kelly more. But the whole off-the-field incident thing, there was only a couple. One was stupid, and one of the incidents was reasonable. I mean,
there were 2 off-the-field incidents at Ole Miss. He got kicked off of Clemson, and he had 2 off-the-field incidents. He stayed mature in 2015, but he had a few off-the-field incidents, and they're minor incidents, like you said, Thomas. One was the Mia Khalifa thing, which raised some minor character concerns. I don't even consider it a thing now, with what an afterthought Mia Khalifa's become, getting rejected by Baker Mayfield and Juju Smith-Schuster and anyone else. So he's become a headline at this point, a meaningless clickbait headline. And then the other thing was his brother. His little brother was being attacked by someone on the opposing high school team, or one of his high school teammates was being, and he stood up for his little brother, and they got into a fight, and he got into a fight with someone. But it was self-defense, and he was trying to keep his little brother from getting hurt. So I don't consider that a red flag. But the media will consider those things red flags, along with the durability concerns.
Yeah. And I think Kelly is the most talented quarterback on the Broncos roster.
Because we had a second-round grade on this guy in September of 2016, but then the character things kept coming up. He kept playing inconsistent football. He had 4 interceptions versus Florida State, and then he got injured, couldn't play in the Senior Bowl. That really killed his stock.
I mean, but really, all he had last year was DeMaurier, Stringfellow, Justin Wilkins, and Quincy Advojo. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and those receivers I think are in the NFL now. So yeah, they didn't even get drafted. They were that bad.
Yeah, I think Kelly is the best quarterback on the Broncos roster. I mean, I love the guy. He was exciting to watch, just like Mahomes. What I love most about him is that he has no fear. Like, he doesn't get under pressure. He doesn't get shaken. Like, you just can't shake the guy. He stays focused and he stays confident. In the face of danger. In the Bama game, he got that one on that QB read option where he dove into freaking what's his face at the time and like scored, getting into that end zone, and nobody was going to stop him. And then another play when he threw a dime to a receiver getting drilled by Reuben Foster. He wasn't going to be denied by Reuben Foster. The guy is a gamer, and he's a winner, and he's got that fiery passion, and I think Elway will like that, and I think Elway loves him. But right now, he's been throwing dimes in practice, or not in practice, but after practice. But right now, I think all he needs to do is learn the playbook, and then I feel like he deserves a shot.
Yeah, I agree, Thomas. He has a lot of strong qualities as far as his tape goes. So, what should we talk about next? Because we've got about 32 minutes. We're good on time, but do you want to try to get some Week 8 picks in? World Series has been. What do you guys want to talk about next?
Oh yeah, I got one more thing. This bogus Jarvis Landry trade rumors. Like, what the hell is
They're
up with
clickbait.
that?
All trade rumors are clickbait, okay? This is what, when you become a website owner and you get involved in the media, one thing you learn is that all trade rumors are clickbait. Like, every year, Mike Florio would post a trade rumor about the Browns trading their left tackle, Joe Thomas. Because Joe Thomas tore his meniscus or triceps or whatever he tore. I'm sure Joey will give us the details on Sunday. But whatever he tore, now that trade rumor is shut down. Florio can't report that rumor, so that he has to go after someone else.
Yeah. Should we bring up the draft breakdown thing, Chris?
Yeah, the draft breakdown. We messaged them yesterday about potentially buying their site. I don't want to make any huge announcements or anything, because I still need to see the offer. I still need to see if they give me an email back. And I want to know what the terms are, the costs. I want to see like a contract. I'm serious about it, but I also want to know what the details and logistics are before we proceed forward, because that would be a cool thing to own, and then to have them cover draft. If they cover college basketball, all of a sudden Draft Express, which is considered the #1 NBA draft site in the country, because they do basketball similar to Draft Breakdown, all of a sudden Draft Express has a rival they have to compete against. So...
Alright.
Yeah, and I've already said that Ryan, I will make Ryan director of scouting, director of college basketball whenever, if we get Draft Breakdown. Ryan can be director of college basketball content. And be in a very similar position as that guy on Yahoo, I forget his name, Mike Schultz, I think it is. He's the Draft Express guy. Ryan will be that for Draft Breakdown if we get the site. So, yeah.
Alright, before we move into something else, I got one more Oregon State topic. Discussing coaching options for this next year. Like, who do you guys think would be the best available, possibly, coaching options that Oregon State should target?
You could get Butch Jones from Tennessee, but that certainly wouldn't be the best option, Thomas.
Yeah, no thanks. What do you think, Ryan?
Honestly, I would have to see who's available.
Well, I'm going to say this. Scott Frost is doing an exceptional job at UCF, and he was Chip Kelly's protege.
You're talking about Scott Frost, the UCF Southern Florida guy?
Central Florida guy.
Yeah,
Wait,
the
the what?
Central Florida guy.
Yeah,
He was
honestly,
Chip
I'm gonna
Kelly's.
stop right there. That's the guy I would want because I will tell you right now, based on all the rooms I've seen and like some of the posts, it sounds like any part of Central Florida to South Florida is like scouting heaven right now. So if you can get yourself a coach to go to Oregon State and really bring that explosive type of offense, you guys might have a little bit of
Scott
talent.
Frost
I mean,
was
run
the
game's
architect behind that offense that Marcus Mariota ran at Oregon. He was the architect behind that offense. He is very good at what he does. Didn't do well the first year at Central Florida, but he's really changed the culture and the tempo of that environment. So Central Florida's going to be a powerhouse as long as he's there.
I mean, Central Florida last year had a winning record, and the year before that they didn't even win a single game. So
maybe it was 2 years ago then, because I remember Scott Frost having a very bad first year, and then he just came in and kicked butt the next 2 years.
Yeah, Scott Frost was Chip Kelly's student, basically, at Oregon. But Oregon State, they're more prestige than UCF. They got more money there.
They are a Power 5 team. Central Florida is not a Power 5 team, so...
Yeah, it could... And he's very familiar with the area and recruiting. And it could be enough motive for him to want to take the job if they targeted him. I think we definitely should.
Fleck was not a non-Power 5 coach, and he ended up at Minnesota, so this could happen.
Yeah. But Fleck would be another option, but he's committed to Minnesota, so... another coaching option that I think we should go after, maybe, is Cliff Kingsbury. Depending on how well he does there. But the thing is, Texas Tech kind of has more prestige than Oregon State does, because, I mean, they're in Texas. They just opened up one of the best training facilities in all of college football. And kind of, I wouldn't want the air raid offense at Oregon State. That just wouldn't be well. But I also, I heard someone say that the new coach at Western Michigan is doing a good job and that we should possibly pursue him, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, he's doing okay. I think he was a coordinator for them last year, so he got promoted. He's been okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Scott Frost is probably our best option that we should try and go after.
That's a good call.
Or Cliff Kingsbury, but yeah.
I like the idea of Frost just because it just seems like he's going to be coming from a really good background.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's the best option, for sure.
My favorite coaches in college are Scott Frost, Cliff Kingsbury, and P.J. Fleck.
Yeah, Scott Frost has done phenomenal things with...
He has. And he's so creative with his offense. Like, I think to a point he's even more so creative than Chip Kelly. Like, last week in the Navy game, to prepare his team, he put on a helmet and played practice squad quarterback to help prepare them for the option that he ran so many years at Nebraska with.
Yeah, I mean, he was very good at Oregon, too, and I think a few years ago when Joey and I were covering the first college football playoff, I compared him to Steve Jobs, Scott Frost. He has a very similar approach to designing an offense and building a team the way Jobs built Apple, and then Joey started questioning my blood alcohol levels. I think it was a disastrous show, but it was fun.
Yeah, I think he is definitely one of the rising young coaching stars in college football.
Yep.
So, I think he could take Oregon State to new heights, and I think Oregon State could take him to new heights. Problem is our athletic director here is a biased turd towards the Oregon Ducks. So, he probably wouldn't bring in hot coaching projects to Oregon.
So the athletic director of Oregon State is an Oregon Ducks fan.
Well, no, the athletic director of Oregon, really, like, are in charge of all our athletics and stuff.
Yes, that's what I said. Oregon State's athletic director is biased towards the Oregon Ducks.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's like Duck Hunt, except instead of him helping the Beavers out, and you're trying to take down the Oregon Ducks, he just comes up out of nowhere like the dog laughing in Duck Hunt.
Yeah, I mean, he does help Oregon State out, but he focuses more of his attention on the Ducks, which makes me believe he's also a liberal. So
yeah. All right, what else do we got here? What else do we got here? What else do you want to talk about? Yeah. My computer's at 39%, and I'm going to a friend's at 3, and it's 2:36. So we've got 24 minutes, unless my computer dies before then. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to get to some Week 8 picks now, or
yeah, let's do the Week 8 picks, Thomas.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, all right. So, Week 8, we've got the Vikings and the Browns. Are we all going to raise our hands and pick the Vikings and then move on to the next Sunday game?
Let's do the voting thing like the old days. We say yay or nay.
Okay,
yay.
All those in favor of the Vikings beating the Browns?
Yay.
Yeah.
Motion passes, unless Ryan decides to pick Kaiser in bold tradition to upset his dad.
I almost want to pick Kaiser. I could make an argument for him, but I'll still pick the Vikings. That's all I'm saying is I think it might be a trap game, and they might lose 17-14.
Well, there's only 2 locks on Draft Utopia this week, and one of the writers picked a lot of upsets. They picked the 49ers, they picked the Browns, they picked the Jets, they picked the Chargers to beat my Patriots. They picked so many upsets that I'm actually asking myself what the heck they were thinking.
Were they all doing coke with Chris Forrester?
Maybe.
We'll have an open bar banquet.
Yeah, so one person actually did pick the Browns, and they talked about how the Vikings were going over both games. They were preparing for both games on the plane to London because the Vikings head coach, Mike Zimmer, worked with Hugh Jackson and Jay Gruden in Cincinnati back when Andy Dalton was at his peak. So, yeah, that's why they were talking about both of those coaches, you know? That's why...
So yay. Yay for Vikings.
So the Vikings might be looking ahead to this game. It's not as far-fetched of a theory as you think, Ryan, so...
Well, I know, and that's the scary part, but at the same time, I also kind of feel like somebody had pointed out that, you know, the worst teams play better in London, so I wonder if it's going to be like a trap game boom type thing.
Dang it, Ryan, you're breaking tradition. We're doing it the old-fashioned way.
What? We're going to vote on each game, and then we're going to say, and then I'm going to slam the gavel and go motion past like SGA at Slippery Rock? That's what you mean by tradition, Thomas?
Yes, like the Middle Ages days when we go yay or nay.
That's basically what they do in SGA, and I've made fun of it numerous times on my podcast because they've kicked me out.
Well, let's do it. It's perfect. Let's do it.
Just say yes or no. This is not true.
Okay, I'll scroll through the games. I'm pulling up the game articles on Draft Utopia, and I'm scrolling through the games to figure out what games we are going to break down. I'm pretty certain that the third game is the Atlanta Falcons going to the New York Jets. All those in favor of the Jets taking a 28-3 lead and then blowing it to the Falcons. So Atlanta finally is a reason to celebrate being down 28-3. Put your hands up. Apparently, I'm the only one who put their hands up. Also, 3 out of 5 people picked the Jets for the second week in a row. I don't know what the Jets are doing to Draft Utopia, but I am holding their coaching staff responsible.
That's the Jets.
Well, Atlanta's still adjusting to a new offensive scheme.
Under Steve Sarkisian, who is just terrible.
The Jets will win 23-17.
I had the Vikings winning 31-0 and shutting out the Browns. This thing gets so ugly that Kaiser becomes a crying Jordan meme by the end of the first quarter.
No, Cody Kessler's starting.
No, the Browns said that Kaiser was starting on Wednesday. They're keeping...
What, the turf? They also said that Kessler was going to start. They must have flipped the script and changed their mind.
Or they might have kept Kaiser in, because Joey told me Kaiser's the guy. So, yeah. And Kaiser was snorting coke at a nightclub at this point last week, so TMZ evidence, which Ryan Romero was kind enough to present. So on Sunday morning, we'll have the adventure. We'll have Joey go undercover in a sleuth detective outfit to the club. The only reason Joey would even consider this is because, one, it's Kaiser. It's the Browns. Two, the club has beer. If those two things are not involved, Joey is not doing this.
I feel like this is a perfect mission for Joey, really.
Yes.
It is.
Exactly. He goes undercover as a detective in a sleuth outfit, and he gets to drink beer and watch the Browns and investigate the Browns.
Like, yeah, it's like an episode of Spy vs. Spy.
He's like the head of the Gestapo.
The Gestapos. I believe it's the Jets-Falcons. I'm trying to scroll down and figure out what the third game is. My site is being a little bit slow at the moment, but I'm pretty certain it's
I think
Jets.
the Jets win in a close game. I think the Jets win.
I'm pretty certain it's
Nah.
Jets-Falcons. I'm going with
If
the
Miami can
Falcons.
beat the Falcons, the Jets can.
I'm surprised that 3 out of 5 people are picking the Jets to beat the Falcons, Ryan. This is really groundbreaking stuff because the Falcons are a way better team than the Jets.
Yeah, they're a way better team than the Dolphins, too, and the Dolphins won.
I think
The world's going to end.
I have the Jets 23-17.
Interesting. Interesting.
Next
I mean,
game.
I'll pick the Falcons, and I'll say like 24-14. There's no way in hell that.
I'm going to say that the Falcons win 31-28, and the Jets take a 28-3 lead at halftime and blow it.
All right.
It's funny. The Jets have blown 2 leads in a row. They blow a third one in a row. 28-3. Atlanta gets their confidence back. There's no more. That's the most ironic way to put this.
You guys do know the Jets have a history of beating about in Atlanta, right?
Well, this game's in New
No,
York,
I didn't.
Tracy. It's at MetLife Stadium. And Matt Ryan does have a tendency to struggle in some outdoor games. I think a lot of people dismissed that because before Kyle Shanahan arrived, Matt Ryan sucked in outdoor games. And a lot of people put that to bed thinking he's not going to revert to that guy. Well, he has reverted to that guy without Kyle Shanahan, so yeah. He's still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's just not the top 5 guy that we hyped him up to be at the end of last year without that coordinator.
Why am I watching soccer right now?
I'm trying to think. I think the 4th game is Carolina and Tampa Bay. But I need to scroll down.
I'm going to go with the upset and say Tampa Bay. We don't have to do it in order.
Well, I try to prefer to do it in order, and Tampa Bay is a lock on the week. They're one of 2 locks for Draft Utopia this week, and they're actually favored to win.
Yeah, I got Tampa Bay.
Smart decision.
I think their last 2 losses they've had, they were in close games. Last week, I think they got screwed over by the refs.
Oh, wait, I could just check my Twitter history and I'll find out, because the Chiefs-Broncos game is the Monday night game at the top. I tweeted each game in order, so I could probably just check my Twitter history, and then we could go. I just have to go in reverse order, though, from my Twitter history, so, yeah. Falcons, it is Carolina-Tampa Bay is the next game. I don't even need these links to Draft Utopia. I just need to check my Twitter history.
Yeah, I got Tampa Bay. I think they've been screwed over the last couple of weeks, especially last week with the ending BS call.
Yep.
And Carolina, they've been predictable, so I think Jameis Winston is going to pull it off.
I'll have Tampa Bay in a close one also, 21-18.
And everyone's taking the Buccaneers.
I don't know about Ryan, but...
Ryan?
Who are they playing again?
It's Carolina and Tampa Bay.
You know, I feel like Cam Newton's blowing up on his team and he's getting frustrated, so I got to go with Tampa.
Yep, Tampa Bay, one of the safer locks of the week. They're a lock on the website, and they're a lock on this podcast. Moving on to Philadelphia, it's always sunny in Philadelphia, where we have the San Francisco 49ers, the winless 49ers playing an Eagles team that doesn't have Jason Peters for the rest of the year. 49ers just don't have the pieces to keep up with the Eagles. Philly's going to win this in a blowout. Can we all agree and move on to the next game?
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
San Francisco 49ers are going to win 21-18.
Wow.
Setup game.
Unreal.
Ryan,
You're picking
you
the
had to be
49ers
that
just
guy.
like Tanya. Unreal. Unreal.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Ryan. Even though I have the Eagles winning 35-21, that means that the Washington Redskins will have to win also. The Cowboys.
Ryan, you had to be that guy. You had to be that guy, Ryan.
Well, it's not just Ryan. You look at the picks on the site. Jesse, Jason, Orrin, and I all went with the same teams, and there's a ton of games this week where Tanya Holmes went with the upset. She went with the Browns, she picked the 49ers, she picked the Jets, she picked the Chargers over my Patriots. I don't know, she even picked the Bears over the Saints. It's like, I'm actually asking myself if she went into the nightclub and snorted cocaine with Kaiser.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Draft Utopia has an open bar policy with some of these picks going on right now.
Yeah. Like, what the heck is going on?
Wait, no, Tanya picked the Saints. She didn't pick the Bears, but Jesse Lucas, who's picked the Bears the last 2 weeks, is going with the Bears over the Saints once again. I think Breeze is going to put up a clinic, though, and this should be an easy win, unless Eddie Jackson steps to the occasion. But the Saints are just playing too good right now. I can't see them losing at home.
I agree. Saints are too good at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, motion passes, we're all picking the Saints, unless we get devoured of a hurricane. Moving on, we have the Patriots hosting the Chargers. Hightower's out for the year now, and word on the street is Denzel Perriman may be back for this game. If he's not, he'll be back by week 10. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Chargers cover the point spread and the Patriots win. 30-27, this game might go to overtime, but it's going to be a field goal game. It's going to be a shootout. Patriots are going to win by a field goal.
Definitely going to be a shootout. I have the New England Patriots 42-38.
42-38. So I don't. 7 scores too low, Tracy. I don't have enough offensive firepower. I have some offensive firepower, but not in ammunition.
Chris, this is my score prediction. Patriots win 7-7.
How do they win 7-7, Thomas? The game would end in a tie in that regard.
Wait. It makes sense though, because they could deflate the San Diego 7 to make it smaller.
That's true. But I'm kidding. 14-7.
That was a good joke. Seventh heaven.
I know.
If the game is 7-7, that's a tie, man.
Like, whenever you're playing Lucky Sevens on the slot machine in Las Vegas, the only way Vegas can make the money is if the Patriots deflate the 7s. Because then the Vegas people can say, well, 2 of the 7s are the same, but this 7's a little smaller. So sorry, you don't get the money. F you, we're keeping your money. The Patriots deflated the 7. Fight us.
Okay, Patriots win 10-7. There we go.
All right,
awesome. Disastrous of a game.
Okay, next up we have the Raiders and the Bills, live on NFL Red Zone here. Scott Hansen, we're going to double box the Raiders-Bills game and Marshawn Lynch's suspension. So, on one box, we have the Raiders playing the Bills, and on our second box, we have Marshawn Lynch eating Skittles from home. So, we're going to double box this, guys.
And then we got Bills fans lighting each other on fire in the parking lot. And then we got one, and then we got another. Oh my God! Then we got another one.
Oh my God! Marshawn Lynch in the pregame festivities. That's great. Marshawn Lynch should go into that game as a Bills fan so he can participate in the pregame festivities. That's brilliant, Thomas.
I think it's possible though too, because Marshawn Lynch had gotten drafted by Buffalo, so I mean he has the connections.
Marshawn Lynch may get kidnapped by Simon Thomas.
Anyone else kind of want to see Marshawn Lynch parachute on the field and then just run off?
Yes. I want to see him participate.
I want to see him get on the field like that cat.
He's just running like a cat on the field.
He's going after Skittles. Remember that episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin uses Reese's Pieces to lure James Woods into a trap? I want to see that. I want to see someone throw candy on the field and then Marshawn Lynch go after it like the kitty.
Do we call the fire department when he gets stuck in the goalpost?
Yeah.
Or like the cat that ran across the field in the fourth quarter last night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Raiders in this one, though.
Yeah, I'm taking Bills fans.
Yeah,
Really? Yeah, dude, yeah, I'm taking the Bills, too. I mean, there's no way that they can lose. I mean, they're playing really good football right now, and it's at home.
Not surprising. Tony also took the Bills. Not surprising.
No, I didn't take the Bills. I took the Bills fans.
Oh, so you're picking the Raiders to win, but the Bills fans cause shenanigans.
No, I'm picking the Bills fans to win the game for the Bills.
How do the fans win the game?
Is there going to be a riot? I'm so confused.
Me too. I'm also confused.
I have the Bills, so you.
Well, Donald Trump's favorite NFL team is the Buffalo Bills, so Trump controlled both teams during the fourth quarter. He controlled both teams. He could get on the scoreboard. He could control both teams. It could be something straight out of Trumpus.
Yep, and then he's going to celebrate with the fan base in the parking lot doing some wild shenanigans.
All right, moving on. We're on to Seattle, as Coach Belichick would say. Deshaun Watson and the Texans, they play the Seahawks in Seattle, and I think it's kind of coincidental, because last year, there was this guy who thinks pro sports are rigged, and he said basically that the Bengals-Redskins game in London was a tribute to the World Series. So this game would be the tribute to the World Series if that's the case, because you got the Astros playing the Dodgers, the Seahawks, they sort of have that Dodger blue, but they also have navy blue and green. So I'm going to go with Seattle, 36-35 in a shootout. They win.
I'm going Houston. Them Texans are gonna shoot down them birds with their revolvers all day long.
Yeah, I'm going black.
36-14, Houston.
I'm going black. Nova Houston Texans. 35-28.
Everyone except Tanya is taking Seattle on the site, but Ryan, who are you taking?
I'm taking, who are they playing again? Yeah, the Texans. I'm taking the Texans.
Unreal.
Yeah,
So,
Ryan, good boy.
Good boy,
Ryan.
The podcast is going with Houston. Everyone on the site except for Tanya is taking the Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks. I think it's going to be a 1-point game, though. And then we've got the next afternoon game. It's Dallas and Washington. And I'm the only one on the site that picked Washington to win. Everyone else is going with the Dallas Cowboys. Even Tanya, who's a huge Redskins fan, who's never picked against Washington, she's taking the Cowboys to win. So it's like a game of Cowboys and Indians, and everyone is out to get me. Even Joey, even Kerm, they're both Cowboys fans. Everyone is trying to get me. Nobody's gonna help me out here. So everyone's gonna pick the Cowboys, and they're gonna gang up on me, and I'm gonna die. And it's gonna be like a game of Cowboys and Indians, and yeah. Pretty much.
Now, this is my pick. I choose the Redskins by 2 touchdowns.
Good boy, Thomas. Good boy.
Thank you, Thomas. You're here to. You and Tracy you and Tracy get to help me out of this situation here.
But I didn't finish. I choose the Skins by 2 touchdowns. But if Ezekiel Elliott eats his cereal, then they have a good chance of winning.
I want. Yeah, since if Ezekiel Elliott, I want them to make a pot roast gif. If Ezekiel Elliott's like the MVP on Thanksgiving Day and he doesn't get suspended, I want a pot roast gif of Ezekiel Elliott eating pot roast like that cereal really quickly. I want like a gif.
That would be great.
It's going to be a close battle, division game. I had the Redskins 28-23. Josh Norman is back.
Damn, Tracy, you read my mind. I have 28-27 Washington on Draft Utopia with Washington by
I got 28-17 Skins.
Good boy, Thomas.
Good job, Thomas. All Are you taking the Cowboys too, or are you going to help my colleagues get even with me, Ryan?
Yeah, I gotta pick the Redskins on this one. I mean, honestly, I just don't see the Cowboys winning this. I think that Kirk Cousins is playing with meaning because he realizes he might not either be with the Redskins or he realizes the better he plays, it's going to make his bargaining power go up when he has to sign with Washington.
So everyone on the Draft Utopia website's taking the Cowboys, and everyone on the podcast is taking the Redskins. Yeehaw! Moving on to the Sunday night game.
Real quick, 34-31. Okay.
All right. 34-31. Tracy's 28-23, 28-17, 28-27. Moving on to Detroit. Pittsburgh plays Detroit. I want to see Carrie Underwood and Eminem have a rap battle on NBC during the pregame show for this game. I think it would be awesome for ratings, and it would just be a one-time thing. Or whenever the Lions are on Sunday night, you get Eminem, and you have him and Mariah Carey have a rap battle. But Pittsburgh will win.
You said Carrie Underwood at first.
Carrie Underwood and Eminem rap on why one team's going to win, and then the other raps on why the other team's going to win, and then they do the Sunday night on NBC intro at the end.
I just want to see Carrie Underwood's luscious legs. Sign me up.
Well, the good news is you might get to see some. One of the things we're hearing is that Jennifer Lopez is going to be doing the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake. Just like Janet Jackson in Super Bowl 38, we're going to see J-Lo. We're going to see J-Lo at halftime. It's going to be brutal. Goodell's going to have to put some DUI sunglasses over his kids.
I love J-Lo more than Janet Jackson, so thank you, Jesus. Timberlake again with J-Lo. Thank you. That booty, oh my God. Oh, I am so excited. I can't wait for the Super Bowl. Let's do this, boys. Lord have mercy.
What's going to happen is it's going to be Beavergate, and they're going to blame it on the Patriots. That's what's going to happen. If the Patriots get back to Super Bowl 52, he'll grab Beaver instead, and it'll be called Beavergate. And everyone will blame it on the Patriots as Timberlake gets away with sexual harassment again.
Brady gonna deflate her booty?
Why would Tom Brady deflate her booty? He's married to Giselle. Come on.
I mean, he deflates everything, though. He deflate her booty just to not make it look good anymore.
So is everyone taking the Steelers in this game?
No, I got the Lions. My boy Matty Stafford is gonna go play lights out because he hasn't been playing good. He needs to play lights out. He's going to play lights out, and he's going to get the Lions.
I have to see this, but if the Lions have the football in the last 2 minutes of the game, they'll win.
Yeah, good points.
Well, where is it at, Pittsburgh?
It's in Detroit.
Oh, I want to say Detroit might be able to squeeze this one out, 20-17.
Oh, I didn't know they was in Detroit.
Everyone's taking the Lions. Well, Tracy's taking the Steelers, but yeah. Final game
Lions.
Is Denver and Kansas City. It's Monday Night Football. This is the second lock of the week. So Tampa Bay and the Chiefs are the only locks this week on our site, and I'm pretty certain Tracy's taking the Chiefs, and I'm pretty certain Thomas is taking the Chiefs, and we're going to end the show with a Ryan Romero rebuttal on why. Wait, Tracy's taking the Broncos. I remember. I remember in the comment section, Tracy. I remembered. Last second. So you are taking the Broncos. I remember.
Von Miller is going to hurt Alex Smith, and Mahomes is going to come in and light it up against Denver's defense. So I got Casey.
So Von Miller puts a bounty on Alex Smith, and Mahomes wins the game for the Chiefs.
Yep.
Do we see Paxton Lynch come in this game? So I hope Paxton Lynch and Mahomes are both playing. If one plays, I want the other to play because they're both Leigh Steinberg's quarterback clients. So we get to see both of them in the second half. All right, awesome.
I actually think there's Salop is going to continue with the Kansas City Chiefs. I had the Broncos in a close one by a field goal, 24-21.
Yeah, I remember Joey saying that the Broncos would win this game on a trick play and find a way to win the division in our preseason show. The Broncos would get some funky call or something would happen that altered the outlook. So, yeah. I know, Ryan, you're taking the Broncos too, aren't you?
Absolutely. 27-24, I think because it's an interdivision game and because we've come off 2 losses, the Broncos are hungry. They got to win.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, if they do lose this week, I think we need to consider either, hey, let's find someone other than Trevor and
Chad Kelly.
start making some
Chad
changes.
Kelly.
Or
Chad Kelly.
we need to start to consider, hey, is this coach Vance Joseph really worth our time?
Vance Joseph isn't good. Chad Kelly.
Yeah, he's really. I mean, dude, he called a fake punt one game inside his
I know.
40, and I was just like, "What the hell, man?"
I don't know why
Nate
John.
Madden.
Just, dude, he came from Miami.
All right,
Defensive
so
coordinator in 1 year. He
it's
didn't do
3
anything.
p.m. and we're about to sign off since my computer is at 14%, along with the fact that I'm going to a friend's soon. But before we sign off, Tiger Woods is the Colorado judge, Ryan's Colorado judge, and Ryan's probation judge has just used misdirection. Ryan is officially now off probation, and Tiger Woods has picked up Ryan's 12-month sentence.
Shit, I wish that was true.
Tiger Woods has your 12-month probation sentence now, Ryan. You're officially off the hook. How does it feel?
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy the bars and watch me some football. Is what I'm gonna go do.
And Tiger Woods, he's been charged with reckless driving. He's on probation for 12 months.
Yay.
Is Game 3 of the World Series tonight?
Game 3 of the World Series is tonight. I'm going with the Astros, 5-4. Same score you predicted for Game 2. We got Lance McCullers and Yu Darvish. Both of these pitchers are really good on the mound, but they can also be really crappy. Like, these are guys who can go 6-7 innings without giving up a run, but they can also give up 4 runs or 5 runs. And since Houston's a hitter-friendly park, I'll say we get a 4-3 Astros win. I say they pitch well early and surprise us, but they do terrible as the game progresses. I would not be shocked if they both got pulled early, though. And Houston's a hitter-friendly park, so I would not be surprised if we got something like Game 2, but I'm going to say the Astros win.
So,
All right,
I got the score that
Dodgers.
I had in one of the rooms was I got the Astros winning as well, 4-3.
I got the Dodgers, even though I don't want them to win. I think the Dodgers win this game, so I'm going to say the Dodgers.
You're talking like a townie, Brian. I mean, damn it, Thomas. Brian Louis townie stuff, and you're confusing me, and I'm just paralyzed mentally.
I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to paralyze you mentally.
So we'll have Sunday Night Football, and then we'll have Game 5 of the World Series on Sunday.
Yeah, Game 5 of the World Series is on Sunday.
Yeah. All right, I'm Thomas Coburn, folks. J-Lo's booty. Oh, precious gem. And what else was I going to say? Oh, crap, I had another good monologue line.
Were you going to talk about how J-Lo was bootylicious because she's doing the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake?
Oh, yeah, that too. She's bootylicious. But, yeah, I'm Ron Burgundy, a.k.a. Thomas Coburn. Stay classy, San Diego. All state stands. Are you in good hands? And that was my co-host, Chris Rantham, and our very special guest, as always, Ryan Romero, a.k.a. Brick Tamlin. Brick Tamlin. And Tracy Porter was Chip. So, that's all, folks.
All right, that does it for this edition of the Utopia of Sports. We'll be back on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. to live commentate Vikings-Browns on TalkShoe. It'll only be on TalkShoe. I can only put it on TalkShoe. I can't put it on YouTube. I can only put it on TalkShoe, but it will be on TalkShoe. And we'll be talking about Ryan's dad's team and Joey's team. We'll have Joey investigate Kaiser, Hugh Jackson versus his former coach. We'll have a lot of fun pregame headlines. So that's 6 a.m. your time if you want to apply yourself boot camp stuff, Thomas. But that does it for this edition of episode 349, the Thomas Coburn Show here on Draft Utopia. We'll be back with more shows in November as we really got to plan this stuff out. But yeah, enjoy Game 3 of the World Series. Enjoy Phil Jerkovic. He plays my old high school NA tonight. I'm going to be watching him in about 4 hours. So yeah, have a good weekend and enjoy.
Enjoy, Denver.
No! It won't let me sign off on TalkShoe. And Curb's not here to do the credits. You gotta help me.
Hey, Thomas, how's the
We're playing Final Jeopardy music because Kerm's not here. This is
What was that?
this is what happens when Kerm's not here. We play Final Jeopardy music.
Kerm, we miss you.
How the Poison Club that you're playing?
I
good.
haven't really paid attention much.
Hey, I got a life-making decision to make real quick. Should I go to McDonald's to get a salad, or should I go to Chipotle and get a burrito?
All right. I don't know how that's going to turn out. But yeah, that's for the show.
You said that on the show at the end of the podcast.
No, I'm afraid, like, what happened on TalkShoe, I think I may have ended the call before Ryan and Tracy called in. I think I may have actually ended the call on TalkShoe before Ryan and Tracy called in. That's how much of a disaster it is that I'm impersonating Larry David. Like, I'm that freaked out.
No, but seriously, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I
think you should get both. You should have a taco salad.
I have to head out to a friend's house soon, so I'll see you guys later. I've already hung up my phone, and I'm gonna leave the YouTube. I'm gonna end the YouTube special, but you guys can keep talking on the